And we're back here on Independent Chick. As you can see, we've had a little bit of a set change. We're going to be talking about polar size today, and that's why I've brought Elisha on to chat with us today about the business that you run and what exactly polar size is.
Well, most commonly known as pole dancing. I like to say pole fitness, but it's known as pole fitness,
right,
pole dancing.
What is the politically correct term?
You know what, anything goes, really. It's fitness, it's acrobatics, it's aerial arts.
Okay.
There's floor work involved. It can be called many different things, but pole fitness and pole dancing, I think, are probably the most common ones.
But we were talking about off camera just a bit ago about like things that you want people to know that you don't agree with certain things that people might say about it. What would those things be?
I personally want everybody to know that just because we practice pole fitness doesn't mean that we partake in certain activities that are more commonly associated with pole dancing. For example, we're not strippers. Right. Just to come right out and say it, we're not strippers, we're acrobats.
You really have to deal with some of those uncomfortable situations. How do you deal with that? I can imagine it can be quite frustrating for you to say, this is what I do, and take it seriously.
It is, and I still find to this day, actually, sometimes I feel a little embarrassed telling people about it just because I still have a little bit of a fear of the judgment, right? Because of the stigma attached to it. But I just state my claim. It's pole fitness. It's incredibly difficult, so I'm proud of myself that I do it because it takes a lot of strength. And that's basically it. People are going to make up their minds on their own, regardless of what I say or you say or what anybody says. So I do what I do, and I'm not, this is what I do. It doesn't go any further than that. So that's it, basically.
And you've said that it takes a lot of fitness, and also I can imagine that it has a lot to do with body image and building confidence.
Yes, huge.
In your body. How have you felt you've changed since you've started dancing?
Can I tell you the story of how I... Fitness. Can I tell you how I got into it? And this really relates to it very well. So about 5 years ago, I was in kind of a bad headspace. I had not long before that split with my common law ex, and I was living by myself in an apartment, and my sister wanted to go and take a beginner pole fitness class. So she dragged me to this class with her. I did not want to go. I was not happy about it, but I went with her because it was my sister, and I'm like, all right, fine, I'm going to go with you. We're going to try it. So it was a 5-week program, just a beginner fitness program or whatever. And by the end of the first lesson, I was like, all right, it's not bad. It was fun. It was okay. And by the end of the second lesson, I love telling this story. By the end of the second lesson, I decided that I needed one at home. By the end of the third lesson, I had one. And by the end of the 5 weeks, I was practicing pretty much every day at home. I fell in love with it. It actually changed my mind completely, because the space that I was in before I started was just, it was a bad self-esteem place. It was an angry place, kind of. I just wasn't very happy. And this changed everything.
It was a life changer for you.
Very much, very much.
We have Tiffany here.
Yes.
This is the instructor, Tiffany, and now you're going to be showing some moves. You can kind of describe what she's going to be doing today.
Sure.
And then Tiffany's going to show me some stuff. All right. So
Sounds good.
How would you start at your beginner lesson?
What we would do first is teach you how to walk around the pole, because believe it or not, you have to learn how to walk when you're learning pole dancing. There's a right and wrong way. So we'll talk about the right way. So this is a basic pole walk around the pole. You'll see she's dragging her toes because it looks nice and kind of sexy. We would teach you how to do an underarm pole turn. I'll get Tiff to demonstrate that. So it's just nice ways of kind of, walking around and being, just kind of getting into the dance part of it a little bit. What else could we teach? We would teach something called a toe step spin. So I'll get Tiffany to demonstrate that. This is a really basic spin. It's one of the first ones that we teach. It's pretty safe because both of your hands are on the pole and you're not quite off the ground yet. Okay? But speaking of getting off the ground, let's throw a fireman spin. This is another basic spin.
Oops, maybe I shouldn't do that.
So that's a fireman spin, and it's very pretty. And a lot of these moves can be, combined with other moves and stuff to make a routine. There's tons and tons. There's just endless combinations that you can do. So let's show a chair spin. Actually, this is another one that we do often in a beginner class. So you see, it looks like she's kind of sitting in a chair. So very pretty stuff.
So before I get on the pole,
jump on.
What are some do's and don'ts?
Well, one thing you always do, make sure that you are safe. Do make sure you stretch. Do make sure that you are practicing good form. And by good form, the most obvious one that I can think of is to make sure your wrist is in neutral position as much as possible. There's a tendency to want to, let me just show, like wrap your wrist around the pole like that. Try not to do that.
Break something?
You can develop issues.
Okay.
Like there are girls that I know that that got into it and they were kind of twisting their wrist and they've got like tendonitis issues and things like that. So you do have to be careful. Try and keep your core always needs to be strong. Keep your wrist neutral as much as possible. Have fun. You'll see. It's impossible not to.
Elisha, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I'm going to try this out and I'm really excited about it. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Here.
Thank you for having me.
All right.